And breaking news update, this is regarding the fire that we talked about in Bastrop County. Much more coming up on the situation just a little bit.
Thanks a lot, Laura. All right, we want to update you on some breaking news out of Bastrop County today. Firefighters are investigating the cause of a house fire on West McDonald Lane. That's near Highway 21. You see it on the map right there. Let's go to a live picture from that scene right now. The fire started just after 2 o'clock and spread through the home. One person is hurt and was taken to Brackenridge Hospital with minor burns, and it's believed that that fire actually started in a utility closet of that home. Firefighters say, take a look, it appears that the house is a total loss. We're going to have an update on KXAN News tonight at 6 o'clock.
We have breaking news coming into the KXAN newsroom in Northeast Austin now, where police are investigating an afternoon shooting. Police tell KXAN the victim is an adult man who was shot at another location and then dropped off at a gas station in the 7100 block of Ed Bluestein. That's near Springdale Road. An ambulance took the victim to Brackenridge Hospital. His condition has not been released, and investigators are telling KXAN the victim is not being cooperative and knows who the suspect is. We'll have an update on the story coming up at KXAN NBC Austin at 6 o'clock.
And let's get an update from Laura Skirty live in the First Warning Weather Center. Hey, Laura.
Hey, guys, keep your umbrella handy this weekend.
As for us, we will see you back again at 6 o'clock.
Bye-bye.
The news doesn't stop, and neither do we. For the latest news, weather, and more, log on to KXAN.com. It's all you need in a click.
Rowdy revelers spell trouble on Austin roads tonight. We're going to show you the bar bills you have to see to believe.
A 50-foot fall and the very gadget that distracted the victim saved his life. We'll bring you the exclusive video on the rescue in Georgetown.
A cow, a wreck, a foot chase. It is the most bizarre story you're going to hear all day. And it ends with 2 patrol cars up in flames.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news at 6.
There may be more drunk drivers on Austin roads this evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Bergamo.
And I'm Sally Hernandez. We want to give you a live look at St. Patrick's Day celebrations near 4th Street. This is where we discovered some drinkers that they have been slamming down beers since 6 this morning. Yeah, believe it. Now Austin police and Travis County deputies are stepping up DWI patrols.
It's our 8th annual St. Patrick's Day. We got street festival all day long. We got bands playing all day long.
Happy St. Patrick's Day!
And let's not forget drinking all day long. Shots, kegs, and 6-packs. Yeah, you'll find it all here at Fado.
I got here at 6 this morning when it opened.
Before noon, this guy already had 12 beers.
Right here, St. Patrick's Day!
His friend ran up a bar tab of $245, but that's nothing.
By the time I leave, my bar bill will be about $2,000.
That's a lot of drinking, and that's why law enforcement are out in full force.
The two worst things that can happen is drinking and driving and speeding on crowded highways.
Police are on the scene of a murder in Northwest Austin. We are live with the very latest. Just 2 months old, and tonight she's dead. Why authorities say her parents are to blame. And wet weather causes problems for area drivers. More on our chances for severe weather.
NBC.
A 2.5-month-old is dead. Her parents are in jail for murder. Now family speaks out. I'm Silva Harapeti on this story from San Marcos. The bird flu is spreading, claiming the life of a woman in the Middle East. Here when U.S. officials say the virus will hit the U.S.
Our wet weekend continues with the threat of severe storms tomorrow.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news at 10.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of Northwest Austin.
Austin homicide detectives are on the scene of a murder. Now it happened near the intersection of Highway 183 and RM 620. KXAN Silva Harapetian joining us live in Northwest Austin with the latest. Silva?
Hi, Jim. This is 183 frontage road southbound just off of 183. And take a look behind me. That investigators have closed this area to traffic. That's because they're investigating a homicide. Around that parking lot, you see the cop cars parked around there. They tell me that they received a phone call, 911, reporting a shooting just before 8 o'clock. When police arrived, they found a body of a man. He'd been shot to death. The only information they are releasing to the media at this point is that the man is a white man who was shot to death. At this time, they are interviewing witnesses and also some of the employees of the business to see if they can piece this information together. We'll, of course, be following the story and more developments. Tune into First Cast Live. Silva Harapeti on KXAN, NBC Austin.
In other news, a 2.5-month-old baby is dead, and tonight her parents are in jail accused of the murder. KXAN Silva Harapeti tracked down the family in San Marcos. She has their reaction and the latest on the investigation.
2.5-month-old Cynthia Gonzalez died of severe head trauma. Autopsy.
One man is dead after an early morning accident that tied up traffic on I-35 northbound for hours. Authorities say it happened when 19-year-old Aubrey Ferris drifted onto the shoulder, then overcorrected and lost control of his vehicle. He slammed his truck into a light pole and crossed the interstate's median. Ferris was not wearing a seatbelt. He was taken to Brackenridge Hospital, where he later died. And some drivers were caught off guard by this morning's rain. This rollover accident happened near Sunset Valley in southwest Travis County. An SUV rolled over into what used to be a local plant and garden store. The driver was treated for minor injuries.
And now, your weather.
Well, rain showers the concern today. The threat of severe weather the concern as we head through the overnight hours and through the rest of the day.
That caused this Fort Worth skyscraper to crumble.
Man, it look like a leprechaun to me.
You heard right. More on the mystery over the search to find a leprechaun here in the U.S.
And he once disgraced the famed Cowboy star. Now he'll star for the famed Cowboys. Why, this is one TO Dallas doesn't mind taking.
Profiler. Severe thunderstorms are moving toward the Texas Hill Country right now. You folks in Mason County and Gillespie County especially want to be aware of these. You're under a severe thunderstorm watch right now until 2 o'clock in the morning. These counties just to the west of you are already under severe thunderstorm warnings, and you can see the...
NBC Austin. This is your news, first at 4.
Deadly shootings. New information today on 2 separate weekend murders in Austin. One left a young woman dead, another shot in front of a shopping center.
Deadly storms in Texas will tour the damage left behind by flooding and a tornado that ripped parts of Texas.
And the Learjets of their day. See how they'll be used to promote one Central Texas area.
Good afternoon, everyone. The cleanup is now underway after severe weather hit several parts of Texas.
Floodwaters damaged homes, buildings, and cars. Firefighters evacuated a number of people from their homes because of the threat of rising waters.
We'll have more on that in just a moment, but first, new developments on 2 weekend murders in Austin. Police have arrested 22-year-old Brandon Lee Allen for shooting and killing his ex-girlfriend, 23-year-old Lindsay Lukenholter. KXAN's Rich Parsons is live from the murder scene with the latest on this investigation. Rich?
Michelle, it's a much different scene out here than just 24 hours ago, and the cops are crawling all over that apartment complex right there, investigating the city's 3rd homicide of the year. All's quiet now that the suspect is in custody, and police say to some extent confessing. Well, this is where police found Allen this morning, the 1300 block of Ruth Avenue, about 2 to 3 miles north of the murder scene. Police say he went to a house, knocked on the door, the resident answered, recognized him from media reports, and called the cops, but police could not tell us why he was in that area. Police say he tried to flee and officers caught him without a fight. Police tell us he admits to going to his ex-girlfriend's apartment early Sunday morning and shooting through her door after she and a friend tried to hide from him in her apartment. Police tell us the suspect and the victim had an on-again, off-again relationship since high school. They do have evidence that he'd been harassing her.
We have information that he was jealous and upset that she was dating other boys, and we just feel like that was his pure motivation. That, you know, if he couldn't date her, then no one else was.
Well, police have yet to recover the murder weapon, and Ruth Avenue, where Allen was caught this morning, is also the street in which the victim's father lives on, but police tell us they believe it's just coincidence that he was caught over there. They don't believe there's any connection. We'll have much more on this tonight on News 36 at 6. Michelle?
All right, well, this next victim was targeted. That's what Austin police are saying about a shooting on Saturday night near 183 and Pecan Park Boulevard.
Right. Witnesses say it seemed as if the roof just gave way. No one inside the structure was hurt. Central Texas had its share of severe weather last night, as we all know, but has the rain helped our drought conditions? We have 2 live reports for you with Dan Robertson at Lake Austin. First, let's check in with Jim Spencer in our First Warning Weather Center.
All right, thank you, Robert. Yeah, the worst weather was to our north, up in North Texas, and then down west of San Antonio. That's where the tornado touched down last night near Uvalde. We escaped with really more good than harm from this round of thunderstorms. Much needed rainfall, as you can see on the radar, though. It is all out of the state at this hour.
Fuel a large fire like that. A house fire in Jollyville destroys a home. A neighbor near the 1100 block of Buggy Whip smelled smoke at 11 o'clock this morning and called 911. The fire burned a second-floor bedroom and bathroom and moved into the attic, causing a wall collapse. No one was home, and firefighters were able to rescue a dog. The Jollyville Fire Department is looking into the cause of the fire.
In the Hill Country, a middle school coach remains in the hospital after suffering a gunshot wound to the hip. Authorities say 26-year-old Dustin Fish, this man, was shot once on Saturday night while at a house with a group of people. Fish is a teacher and coach at R.J. Ritchie Middle School in Burnett. The preliminary report indicates the shooting may have been accidental. The coach is at Brackenridge Hospital right now, listed in critical condition. Investigators are trying to determine if alcohol was a factor.
Accident in northwestern Nebraska.
Despite the rains this weekend in our area, the drought situation has taken its toll on one of our favorite lakes. So far, 2 public boat ramps on Lake Travis have closed because of low lake levels. Right now, the Camp Creek Recreation Area and Cypress Creek boat ramps are closed. Lake Travis is currently 7 feet below its average for March. Another thing to watch out for are the sometimes islands that appear during the drought conditions. Back in 1999, when Lake Travis was this low, there were a record number, in fact, of drowning deaths. Most victims tried to swim to the sometimes islands and misjudged the distance and drowned.
Well, talk about a scary night listening to you and Laura yesterday, and I was this close to getting in the tub.
Now here. More on the weather in 90 minutes.
Jim, thanks, and thank you for joining us here at KXAN News First at 4. We're back with more local news at 6.
Keep it right here on KXAN for NBC Nightly News at 5:30. Access Hollywood is next.
The news doesn't stop, and neither do we. For the latest news, weather, and more, log on to KXAN.com. It's all you need in a click.
A desperate housewife.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 6.
A shooting that killed a man in northwest Austin was no accident.
Austin police say someone intentionally gunned down the victim in front of his loved ones. KXAN Silva Harpetian is live where this all went down. She's there with today's developments in the investigation. What's up, Silva?
Hi, Michelle. Now, the shooting happened on Saturday night right off of 183 and Pecan Park Boulevard. Let me show you a picture of the suspect here. He is identified as Anthony Benish. Police say this was a deliberate act. Someone went through a lot of trouble to kill Anthony Benish. We saw detectives out here earlier, and they're trying to reenact what may have happened on Saturday. It seems Benish's car was parked in that parking lot facing southbound. They were trying to figure out if Benish was standing towards his car with his back to the frontage road, how he may have been shot.
Safely.
KXAN's First Warning Weather team kept you posted all night on the severe weather right here in our area. Now Dan Robertson is looking at the lasting effects of the storm, but we'll start with Jim adding up the rain totals, and you're pretty excited about that, Jim.
Hey, we had some really nice totals in and around Austin anyway. A lot of places in the Hill Country did not see all of that much, and that rain that we have seen has been moving eastward steadily on out of the state today. Very little shower activity remaining up in northern parts of Texas at this hour. A dry westerly wind has blown in here behind the front. Some really strong winds, too, over 60 miles an hour, collapsing a roof out in Lubbock at a restaurant there. One person reportedly killed by those strong winds this afternoon. Again, that wasn't even associated with a thunderstorm. And we've got some of that gusty wind here, too. Does that mean our fire danger has rebounded once again? Well, the rain is making some difference in terms of that and in terms of our drought relief, too. At least a little bit of difference. Dan Robertson joins us live from...
Well, that's right, Jim. We have seen a little bit of difference, but honestly, it's probably not going to be enough. What a beautiful day it is today. People out here at Lake Austin doing a little fishing and enjoying things. Well, there's no doubt we're well into spring, and after the rains, the world's looking a little greener. But you know what? A long, hot, and dry summer is still on the horizon.
As quickly as they came, weekend storms moved out, leaving behind.
Hi again. It's a performance he won't soon forget. An Austin man does more than break a leg at a local theater. Police say he also breaks the door. KXAN Santa Henderson joins us live with why this man's debut performance got some bad reviews. Hi, Santa.
Now, Zachary Scott Theater is known for its action-packed live performances, but police say one man went from the stage to a cage after breaking into the theater. Austin Beasley is charged with burglary of a building. Police say he was caught inside the theater early Sunday morning. A janitor alerted the police about the break-in, and once they got there, they saw Beasley inside sitting at the piano and playing a tune. And listen to this. Police say Beasley was even dressed in a theater costume. He was arrested on the spot. According to the arrest warrant, Beasley told police the reason he did it was because his brother was in jail and he hasn't been able to contact him. He thought if he broke into the building, he would be able to be with his brother. Once again, Austin Beasley now faces burglary of a building charges. Police also say that while he was inside, he drank some beer and wine. As for the jail, Travis County tells us that they do not put relatives in the same cell. Reporting live from Zachary Scott, I'm Santa Henderson, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Well, tonight, KXAN News salutes one very special teacher making a difference in the lives of Central.
From KXAN, NBC Austin, this is your news first at 4.
A methadone overdose. Is this woman guilty of giving a teenager drugs that killed him? We're live at the trial with today's new developments.
Fighting wildfires in the city. Meet the man who's in charge of keeping your family safe from this threat.
And pumping up support, President Bush speaks out today about the future of the U.S. in Iraq. First at 4 on KXAN, a parent's nightmare. A 17-year-old dies of a drug overdose, and a Bertram woman is on trial now, accused of giving him the drug that killed him.
51-year-old Charlene Stevens faces a charge of delivering a drug to a minor. KXAN's Connie Swinney is following this trial in Burnett County and is live with today's developments. Connie?
Well, Michelle, the prosecution will continue tomorrow. Back to you.
A man is arrested after running over a woman with a car, and police say that he tried to do it on purpose. Woodrow Nix is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The incident happened outside this club on Weberville Road on Sunday night. Police say Nix intentionally ran over his on and off again girlfriend after having an argument. The woman told police Nix stated, "You can't break up with me, I'm gonna run you over." The victim was treated and released from Brackenridge Emergency Room.
A Central Texas veterinarian is indicted for possession of child pornography. Jonathan Brook of Kerrville was indicted by a Kerr County grand jury for one count of possession of child porn and online solicitation of a minor. You may recall last July, Brook was arrested in Buda, just south of Austin. Investigators with the Attorney General's Cyber Crimes Unit say he went there with the intention of meeting an underage girl for sex. Instead, he met the investigators who were chatting with him online. Back in August, Brook was indicted in Hays County on 2 counts of attempted aggravated assault of a child. Back here in Travis County, another man is indicted in connection with a bus stop shooting. Antonio Ramirez is now charged with the September 2005 death of Christopher Brezeño. Brezeño was shot after getting off a school bus near Chacon and Haskell Streets in East Austin. Police say the shooting happened after Ramirez's teenage sister accused Brezeño of harassing her at Austin High School. Brezeño was just 16 at the time of his death. 3 other people have also been charged in connection with the murder.
A water main break keeps crews busy in Round Rock today. It happened around 8:30 this morning on the Chisholm Valley Drive and Roundup Trail. The break forced crews to cut off water to about 60 homes in the area. They're still investigating what caused the water main break.
Travis County is no longer under a burn ban. That decision came with a 5-0 vote this morning by Travis County commissioners. The issue will be brought up again next week during their regularly scheduled meeting. Commissioners are still asking people to exercise extreme caution when burning anything outdoors. Well, even though the burn ban is now lifted, recent rain has not reduced the drought danger here in Central Texas. It will take a lot more rain before wildfires are not a constant concern. New at 4 on KXAN, the City of Austin is taking steps to develop a comprehensive wildfire management plan. Our Dan Robertson has new details.
Well, we've seen the devastating wildfires in other parts of Texas. Central Texas, for the most part, spared, but there is still the danger of fires here. That's why the city has brought in an expert.
Fires all over the state are one sign of the severe drought that grips Texas.
Austin's mayor and Austin police are busy making a difference today. Mayor Will Wynn was out earlier today delivering Meals on Wheels. Before taking off for his deliveries, the mayor spoke briefly about the city's economy.
You know, broadly speaking, our economy is a lot stronger today than it was a year ago, but that doesn't mean we should lower our guard. I think we need to not take our eye off the ball when it comes to job creation.
Mayor Wynn was just one of many mayors across the country delivering meals today to raise awareness for the Meals on Wheels program.
In addition to their regular duties today, Austin police also donated some blood. The Blood and Tissue Center of Central Texas has parked the Bloodmobile outside of PD headquarters downtown. This is one of many drives that police hold each year to support the efforts of the Blood and Tissue Center. Asian gypsy moths prey on about 500 types of trees and shrubs and can defoliate acres of plants in just a short period.
Fund them. I'm Rich Parsons. I'll have the story all new at 6.
And more on the great afternoon. Here's Jim Spencer.
Get off the phone, Jim. We caught you.
We are always getting the very latest from our
our
contacts at the Weather Service. Want to get the very latest for you on the 7-day forecast, and it's right there. Take a look. We're going to be a little cool the next couple of mornings, kind of cool in the afternoons, then that nice warming trend as we head into the weekend and early next week. That's overall a pretty good weather forecast here for early spring, though we do need some more rain. I'll have a lot more for you coming up in 90 minutes.
Well, firefighters are used to rescuing tiny.
Maybe we'll try and get it back later.
All right, we'll work on that, and we'll work on keeping you here for Access Hollywood, and we'll be back with more local news at 6.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot more. Keep it right here on KXAN for NBC Nightly News at 5:30. Get your Hollywood scoop. Access Hollywood is next.
The news doesn't stop, and neither do we. For the latest news, weather, and more, log on to KXAN.com. It's all you need in a click.
Over 40 and beautiful right now.
Welcome to Rodeo. Dies of a drug overdose. Now this woman is on trial in the Hill Country. Hear why a family friend says she ruined a young life.
Paintball and pellet guns, often less than lethal, but now the focus of a Central Texas ban. Find out why.
This little bug will get a blast from government spray trucks soon. We'll show you how Travis County plans to stop them from chewing through our trees.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 6.
Good evening, everyone. Only on KXAN, a woman is in the Hill Country court accused of giving a teenager methadone.
That drug later resulted in his death. KXAN's Hill Country reporter Connie Swinney sat in on the trial today, where the relationship between the two became the center of debate. Connie's live in Burnett with our top story.
Well, Robert, the woman in this case faces a charge of possessing or not actually delivery of a controlled substance to a child. Now, methadone is a drug that's typically used by heroin addicts to kick the habit.
Any kind of weapon within the city limits, even if it's on your property.
I don't agree with that. Nah, they should mind their own business and stay out of my backyard.
The city council passed the ordinance yesterday giving the police department the power to charge anyone who's caught in the act. Now, police chief here telling us that the police department has been receiving a lot of calls about people shooting out windows of newly built homes, also people shooting in their backyards. Now, that used to not be a problem when Hutto was a small rural community, but now with the growth in the city, neighbors live a lot closer than they used to. Firing a weapon, any type of weapon, in fact, is now a safety hazard.
When you're talking about a house right next to a house, you can't control a stray bullet or a ricochet, and that can kill just as easily.
Yeah, and if you're caught in the act, police department telling us here, also parents whose kids might be caught in the act might end up facing misdemeanor charges and a fine up to $500.
More news first at 4.
Breaking new ground, a new development in the buzz today in Round Rock. What do retail giants like this one bring or take away from Central Texas? We'll have live team coverage.
Caught on tape, a burglar busted after a string of pharmacy break-ins in the Hill Country. KXAN has an exclusive live report.
And today's top story, a woman hospitalized after she's hit by a train in North Austin. This is the second time this month a woman is struck by a Union Pacific train rolling through Austin.
Today's incident happened around midnight. That's when 911, a call came in about a woman hit by a train near Steck Avenue. Emergency crews found the woman's body up on the tracks near Breaker Lane. KXAN Sally Hernandez is there live with our top story. Sally?
And Michelle, remarkably, that woman survived and was taken to Brackenridge Hospital with serious head and chest injuries.
Now, we are told that EMS are telling us the woman was run over by at least 30 rail cars. Austin police spent much of the morning out here investigating, searching for clues. They're
charged with manslaughter for the death of his friend, a Leander firefighter. The charges are linked to an accident that happened in Cedar Park back on March 3rd. According to police there, Riley Shipman took off from the scene after crashing the truck he was driving into a tree near Crystal Falls Parkway in US 183. Stephen Kincaid was killed. Reports show Shipman was speeding and drifting from one lane to the other before the wreck. Shipman told police that he walked home after he saw Kincaid and thought he was dead.
There are new signs that Round Rock is about to take off economically. Early this morning, a new retail project broke ground along I-35 near University Boulevard. And this future store is just one retail destination for many tourists coming to Central Texas. We have live team coverage of this growing trend. We begin with KXAN's Jim Bergamo in Round Rock. Hi, Jim.
Hello, Michelle. The very ground where I'm standing, that's what the mayor of Round Rock earlier today referred to as the epicenter of growth in Central Texas. Of course, I'm referring to Mayor Niall Maxwell. He and other Round Rock city leaders, as well as Williamson County officials, joined representatives from IKEA for the ceremonial ground.
South of Austin on I-35, you'll recall the Cabela store that opened about 8 months ago. Well, today the town of Buda and its surrounding communities in northern Hays County are noticing some changes because of this retailer. KXAN Santa Henderson is live in Buda following this part of the story. And Santa, has there been some significant change?
Lots of things going on, Robert. As you can see here, I'm at the construction of a new Walmart in Buda. Crews are out right now working on that Walmart, and just about 200 yards away is the Cabela's. The Cabela's is right there. City leaders say that big changes are on the way in Buda because of the Cabela's. They said lots of people are moving out here. There's lots of new construction, new shops, new homes. We're told there are about 900 new students in the schools out here. City officials say people...
In our Texas Hill Country, authorities make an arrest after a rash of pharmacy burglaries. We have exclusive video released today of the suspect caught on tape. KXAN's Connie Swinney joins us live with this story. Connie.
Well, Robert, authorities say they caught the suspect red-handed outside this Atkins pharmacy here in Marble Falls. Now, this would have been the fourth time since December that he broke into this store to steal hydrocodone pills. Now, an officer spotted 38-year-old Kenneth Yates over the weekend at the backside of the pharmacy. Now, here's a look at just moments earlier of surveillance video from inside the store. The suspect smashed the front door. He walked in, broke into a hydrocodone dispenser. Pills in hand, the officer caught him outside after a brief foot chase. Now, since the first break-ins, the pharmacy has steadily improved security. As you can see here, even today, installing a pull-down grate inside. Officials say better security kept the burglar from making a quick getaway.
Train hits another woman here in Austin. I'm Sally Hernandez with that remarkable story coming up.
I'm Connie Swinney. Authorities catch a burglar outside this pharmacy in Marble Falls. We have exclusive pictures from inside the store coming up on KXAN NBC Austin.
The goddess of liberty high atop the Texas Capitol may have some new neighbors. I'm Rick Parsons, all new at 6. We'll introduce them to you.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news at 6.
A woman is in critical condition tonight in Austin after being hit by a train and run over by dozens of rail cars.
Just after midnight, the 911 call came in of a woman hit by a train near Mopac and Steck. Emergency crews found the injured woman up the tracks by Breaker Lane. And KXAN Sally Hernandez joins us live from the scene with more. Sally?
Yeah, Michelle, we learned that the woman is in her 50s from Oregon. Her name, Carla Hamilton, and she is listed in critical condition this evening at Brackenridge Hospital with serious head and chest injuries. This after EMS crews say she was run over by at least 30 rail cars. Austin police still trying to figure out exactly how this happened. They spend much of the early morning looking for clues, and they're used to it. Just earlier this month, they were at Tara McAvoy, Miss Deaf, Texas. The incident there, she was hit by a Union Pacific train while walking alongside the tracks in South Austin. A Union Pacific spokesperson tells us in this latest incident, the woman early this morning seemed to have been doing something else.
It's my understanding that since she was found in the middle of the tracks, I would assume that she had been either on the tracks or laying right in between the tracks. they hit the air brakes, and unfortunately, as we discussed, it can take a half a mile to a mile to stop a train of that size, and unfortunately, we weren't able to stop in time here.
So it is obviously dangerous and can be deadly. There's a phone number that you see on your screen, 1-888-877-7267. That is the phone number to call if you see anybody walking alongside or on railroad tracks. You could also call the local police. Officials say by reporting this, you could save a life. Now, once again, we know that the woman's name is Carla Hamilton. She is listed in critical condition. By the way, we talked to that Union Pacific spokesperson on the phone because he's actually out of town doing a safety training seminar with law enforcement to warn the dangers to the public about walking alongside tracks. Back to you.
A Leander man is now charged with manslaughter for the death of his friend, a Leander firefighter. The charges are linked to an accident that happened in Cedar Park back on March 3rd. Police say Riley Shipman took off from the scene after crashing the truck he was driving into a tree near Crystal Falls Parkway and US 183. Stephen Kincaid was killed. Reports show Shipman was speeding and drifting from one lane to the other before the wreck. Shipman told police he walked home after he saw Kincaid and thought he was dead.
In the Hill Country, it's a guilty verdict for a woman accused of giving methadone to a teenager who overdosed on the drug. That decision in a Bernie County courtroom today for 51-year-old Charlene Stevens of Bertram. Stephen faced a charge of delivery of a controlled substance to a child. 17-year-old John Gifford died at his home in March of 2005, the day after receiving those pills from Stevens. She's scheduled to be sentenced May 4th.
Police catch a serial burglar red-handed at a Marble Falls pharmacy. KXAN's Connie Swinney joins us live with surveillance video that sealed that arrest. Connie.
Well, Robert, the suspect broke into this business behind me. It's Atkins Pharmacy in Marble Falls. 4 times since December to steal the highly addictive drug hydrocodone. He told police that he had back problems and no money to buy the painkiller. In the latest break-in over the weekend, you can see the burglar shattered the front door. He walked in, broke into a hydrocodone dispenser, and set off an alarm. An officer caught him outside after a brief foot chase. Now, since the first break-in, the pharmacy has installed better cameras, fortified doors, and windows. And as you can see here, even today, installing a pull-down grate inside. Future upgrades include an outside siren.
Because of the changes that we had done here.
Glance skyward at the state capitol these days and you're likely to spot more than just the Goddess of Liberty. It looks like the rotunda has a couple of new residents. KXAN's Rich Parsons introduces them to us in a story you'll only see on KXAN.
More than 300 feet above Austin, the Goddess of Liberty apparently has some new neighbors atop the Texas Capitol.
It's ideal for red-tailed hawks.
At least 2 red-tailed hawks may be quietly taking up residence outside the Capitol Rotunda.
I've been here 14 years, and I had no idea this was here.
The hawks spend their day soaring high above the Capitol complex, gliding from building to building. Bird experts say they're looking for prey, using eyesight 8 times more powerful than ours.
They look for open areas just like that setting where they can hunt.
Bird experts say the hawks want nothing to do with us humans, but the Capitol grounds are a smorgasbord of their favorite foods like squirrels and small birds.
We have nothing to fear, only just the pleasure of seeing these magnificent birds.
Birds State Representative Mike Cruzy welcomes.
They don't leave messes, especially if they scare away the pigeons that do leave messes. It's a good thing.
Folks in charge of Capitol preservation say they'll leave the hawks alone if the birds do build a nest.
We've taken up so much of their habitat by building so many new buildings. They have adapted and adjusted,
providing us with a new downtown attraction.
They are spectacular birds. I mean, you have to admit they're very, very handsome.
To see them, just look up. Rich Parsons, KXAN, NBC, Austin.
Bird experts say hawks are active early in the day, so they recommend mornings for bird watching at the Capitol. Our story inspired the Travis Audubon Society to hold a contest to name the hawks. To enter the naming contest and find out more about the red-tailed hawks, you can go to our website at KXAN.com.
Clouds across our area, keeping it cool today. Overcast conditions all afternoon. Temperature 54 degrees here right now at our studios on MLK in the West Campus area. And not any warmer than that much anywhere else. 49 out in Llano right now. Could we actually see a late season freeze? Your forecast is next.
This is your news first at 4.
Well, believe it or not, someone survived this wreck. Keep it here for this amazing story coming up.
Drug testing in Taylor. Hear what residents in the Williamson County community think about the idea for their students.
And an Austin credit card scam. We'll go to a restaurant and see your credit card being used only to have the information stolen. First at 4, Austin police say one waiter is accused of taking more than just your order.
The consumer alert today from a popular Austin restaurant about the surprising way a suspect is accused of stealing information. KXAN Santa Henderson is live with today's top story. Santa?
Yeah, Michelle, now when it's open, Zach's Paints and Plates on Barton Springs Road, you can find it full of customers. Well, police say one waiter was preying on those customers, copying and using their credit card information to get some stuff for himself. Now there is a warrant for the arrest of John Christian Stubblefield for credit card abuse. Now this is how it all took place. Police say while working inside the restaurant, he was getting the credit cards by using a skimming device, then making counterfeit credit cards. The owners say they make every effort to screen employees, and they want to let people know that this is something that they were very aware of. Once police talked with them, they got with police to help solve this problem.
When we became aware of it by the police, we cooperated with them, had him on a very limited schedule so that they could complete their investigation and not to arouse any sort of suspicion on his part.
NBC Austin.
Well, going out for a night of drinking is getting more and more Texans in trouble with the law. Drunks in bars and restaurants are getting busted by the thousands all over Texas. It's part of stepped-up enforcement by the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Since September, undercover agents in bars across the state and right here in Austin have been cited or arrested more than 2,000 people for public intoxication or serving drinks drinkers who've already had too much to drink. The TABC says it's part of their effort to curb drunk driving before folks get behind the wheel.
We're not trying to stop people from drinking alcohol. We're not prohibition.
Weather and more, log on to KXAN.com. It's all you need in a click.
Come on to school grounds. It's to go through the nurse's office. Back to you.
Is random drug test.
Single penny. That's because it's all being paid for by a federal grant. That's something else the Taylor ISD is looking into. A reminder right now, tonight's town hall meeting takes place in a little less than an hour at 7 o'clock at Taylor High School. Reporting live in Taylor, Jim Bergamo, KXAN, NBC Austin.
And in Bastrop, a man who's been on death row for 8 years could get a new trial today.
They say there was evidence during the trial of Rodney Reed 8 years ago that was kept from them. They say the prosecution had 4 different testimonies from 4 different witnesses that would have put another person on the stand, that would have created another suspect, and that is Stacey Stites' fiance, Jimmy Fennell. Now, just to give you an example of 2 of the witnesses that took the stand today, one was a woman that...
In prison, the sentence for a Williamson County man convicted of sexual assault and emotional reaction.
I'm RJ DeSilva. Coming up here on KXAN, we'll show you a new project from the LCRA as they try to make flood control more efficient.
And the Longhorns beat the buzzer. Roger Wallace live in Atlanta with reaction to last night's huge win for Texas. First at 4 on KXAN, a Williamson County jury sends a man convicted of sexually assaulting a child to prison for life.
This is not the first time the suspect has committed a crime against a child. Our Silva Harapetian's been in court all day and is live now with our exclusive top story.
Good afternoon, Chris.
Colton Petoniak's trial is now set for October 9th. He's charged with murdering this woman, Jennifer Cave. Cave's body was found in Petoniak's West Campus area apartment last August. Back in January, Petoniak pleaded not guilty to killing the 21-year-old. Officers say he then fled to Mexico with an ex-girlfriend, but was caught and brought back to Austin.
This man is headed to prison after pleading guilty to...
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news first at 4.
Is this a case of police brutality? The Austin police officers you see in this video are on trial today, accused of beating a suspect in their custody. We're live with today's developments from the courthouse.
A lot of light drizzle on the radar today, but heavier, much needed rainfall in the forecast. I'll show you coming up.
First at 4, the emotional debate over immigration reform in the United States. Good afternoon, everyone. Protests are erupting across the country as the Senate prepares to take up the issue.
Our top story today begins on the streets of Dallas. That's where thousands of students walked out of classes today to rally for immigration rights. An estimated 2,000 students from 5 Dallas high schools took part in this march and protest. Groups gathered at a Dallas area park as well as Dallas City Hall.
Immigrants and advocates are also taking to the streets in Houston today, protesting against possible measures on illegal immigration. Scenes like these have been playing out across the country since Friday.
It's all ahead of the Senate debating legislation over immigration reform beginning tomorrow. At the center of the controversy is a bill passed by the House last December. It includes building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border and making it a felony for immigrants to enter the country illegally. The bill would also apply penalties to employers who hire illegal immigrants. Also on the table, President Bush's guest worker program giving temporary legal status to undocumented workers now in the U.S. Addressing immigration reform today, the president said completing a comprehensive bill will not be easy. This morning, the president attended this naturalization ceremony in Washington. The president believes the creation of a temporary guest worker program would strengthen U.S. security and our economy, but he says amnesty would not be a good route to take on this issue.
Amnesty would also be unwise because it would encourage future waves of illegal immigration. It would increase pressure on the border and make it difficult for law enforcement to...
Could potentially hit you in the pocketbook. KXAN Silva Harpetian looked into the relationship between the housing industry and illegal immigration. She joins us live from Williamson County with more on that story. Silva?
Hi, Michelle. Here in Williamson County, new homes are popping up everywhere, as you see behind me, and people are buying them because these houses have affordable prices. So you're asking, what does this have to do with illegal immigration? Well, it's estimated that as much as 75% of the workforce in the housing industry is
Insurgents and the terrorists have been assembling themselves there, trying to create another Fallujah in that part of the country, which will not be tolerated.
The offensive begins on the same day the new Iraqi parliament is seated. Experts say preparations and plans for the operation, seen here in this video, most likely started weeks ago.
There was probably quite a bit of planning, map study, rehearsal, those kinds of things to put this together. It's not a matter, again, of just putting troops on helicopters and dumping them in the middle of an employment area. It's a very synchronized, carefully planned and executed operation.
According to White House officials, the specific decision to launch Operation Swarmer was not made by President Bush. Rather, it came from military commanders on the ground. Live in Washington, I'm Simi Das.
And there are new reports today that Halliburton failed to protect American soldiers' drinking water in Iraq. According to an internal company memo, Halliburton failed to protect the water supply it's paid to purify the water for U.S. soldiers throughout Iraq. That report obtained by the Associated Press said the company failed to assemble and use its own water purification equipment, allowing contaminated water to come from the Euphrates River. That water was also used for washing and laundering at a U.S. base camp in Ramadi.
Just minutes ago, Texas Governor Rick Perry wrapped up a tour of the damage caused by wildfires in the Panhandle. Firefighters today are breathing a bit easier. Gusty southwesterly winds shifted and diminished overnight, sparing for now 6 towns that were in the path of the massive wildfire in Lipscomb County. Wildfires burning in the Panhandle since Sunday are blamed for 11 deaths.
Glass is found in baby food, and now one Austin store is taking a certain brand off its shelves. KXAN Santa Henderson joins us live with what you need to know about the food you may already have inside your home. Santa?
That's right. Parents, listen up. HEB says if you have HEB brand baby food or Mom's Organic Choice baby food, you need to bring it back to the store for a full refund. That's because HEB has already pulled the brands off of its shelves inside the stores. This after glass was found in some of this baby food in places in Houston and Corpus Christi. This scare was enough to make HEB yank the products off the shelves throughout the state of Texas. A spokesperson says they don't know how the glass got there, and HEB has launched an investigation.
We're going to do everything it takes to make sure that our customers are safe and well educated about the product, and we're going to give them a full refund and talk with them on the phone and just make sure we work through this in a safe manner.
Now, no one was injured in these 3 cases, but once again, here's the food. It's HEB brand baby food, and it's Mom's Organic Choice. If you have questions about this recall, you can call this number. It's 1-800-432-3113. Live in Central Austin, I'm Santa Henderson, KXAN, NBC Austin.
And another important recall today for parents from Walgreens. The drugstore chain says it's recalling its high-potency iron supplement because they aren't in child-resistant packaging. The packaging is required by the Poison Prevention Packaging Act. Ingesting multiple iron supplements at once can cause serious injury or even death to young children. No injuries or incidents have been reported. For information on this recall, just call that number, 1-888-868-698-5032, or just go to KXAN.com.
Day 7 of South by Southwest is now underway, and the big draw this morning was the music festival's keynote presentation by music legend Neil Young. Young's in town promoting his new concert movie, Heart of Gold, made with director Jonathan Demme. During his presentation today, Young talked about his songwriting and his creative process, saying he tries hard not to try so hard.
I really don't know where anything comes from. I really write just totally out of the air. I don't have any, you know, I just hope that things hit me in a way that I can remember, and that and the images come together in a certain way that makes it so that something jars me and blacking out.
So many people packed the room for Young's talk that an overflow crowd had to watch it on monitors out in the hallway.
Well, listen to this. Police made only a handful of arrests last night in downtown Austin. They say the crowds for South by Southwest are pretty tame, but KXAN has learned officers are fighting an urgent problem on 6th Street. With more on that, here's KXAN Sally Hernandez to explain. Hi, Sally.
Hey, Michelle. Urgent. That's a pretty good word for the story, because last year at South by Southwest, Austin police arrested 14 people for urinating in public. More than half were out-of-towners. Austin police say, look, it's a big problem, especially when you have big crowds and few restrooms. So they put up portable restrooms along 6th Street during Mardi Gras this year and Halloween last year. But they're not doing it for South by Southwest. And even though some say, well, they don't understand that, despite the number of citations that police gave out last year.
They need to have porta potties, definitely. I support porta potties in the streets.
This is no really laughing matter. Austin police say South by Southwest, that crowd is much different from other crowds, but many people that we talk to in this crowd say not so much. We're going to have more on that tonight at 6. For now, back to you.
All right, Sally, thank you. If you don't recognize this next name, pay attention. Willie Wisely is one of many showcase artists, churning out great music for years, and who are now finding themselves new audiences here in Austin.
Early in the morning when the sun comes through any window.
The Los Angeles singer-songwriter stopped by our studio to share a little of what he's offering at South by Southwest, namely some fresh tunes.
I'm really excited to be at South by Southwest with a new album in the stores, next month. It's a great time to be here. There's a lot of excitement. I feel support from a lot of the people, and I guess it's so fun to come here. I go to a lot of music conferences all over the country, and there just isn't the sense of music first at those other conferences.
You can hear 2 of Wisely's songs in full at KXAN.com. We'll also post his extended interview. And if you can't get a chance to get into the paid shows, check out the free music tonight at Auditorium Shores. There you see it. Award-winning group Spoon just wrapping up their sound check. The music gets underway in about 2 hours. The ticket includes Echo and the Bunnymen, Spoon, and Blackalicious. Gates open at 5. Shuttles will be running from Austin High School from 6 until 10:30 tonight. You cannot bring food or drinks with you. Only 1 bottle of water is allowed per person. Lawn chairs also not allowed, but blankets are okay. There's more information available at KXAN.com. Of course, we all know this. South by Southwest makes Austin a pretty cool place to be for musicians.
But it's also a pretty cool place for singles. Find out why next.
Plus the dangers in your cabinet. Why common household items are still poisoning our children.
It's March 16th, 4:08. Look at that live look from Llano. Are the rains coming in for this weekend? A forecast you don't want to miss. Still coming up.
First at 4.
Is this a case of police brutality? The Austin police officers you see in this video are on trial today, accused of beating a suspect in their custody. We're live with today's developments from the courthouse.
A lot of light drizzle on the radar today, but heavier, much-needed rainfall in the forecast. I'll show you coming up.
First step for the emotional debate over immigration reform in the United States. Good afternoon, everyone. Protests are erupting across the country as the Senate prepares to take up the issue.
Our top story today begins on the streets of Dallas. That's where thousands of students walked out of classes today to rally for immigration rights. An estimated 2,000 students from 5 Dallas high schools took part in this march and protest.
Prentice and Heist, tonight on NBC.
KXAN NBC Austin is here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing whatever it takes to cover news from every angle, keeping you informed of the situation. Investigative reporting you'll only see on KXAN NBC Austin, and breaking the story on local issues that matter to you. Clear and precise information, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our commitment is what makes the difference. Our commitment to you. For information you need every day, rely on KXAN NBC Austin.
Now to some amazing video. I'm Michelle Bias, live in the KXAN studio. Here's what we're working on for KXAN News at 6. Take a look at this picture from Chopper 36 as it lifts off. Those fires you see are Central Texans taking advantage of the wet weather conditions. Find out how long the rain will last in your first morning weather forecast with Jim Spencer. Then the national debate over immigration hits home. How these proposed changes could affect everyone in America. That's coming up on KXAN News 36 right after NBC Nightly News. Hey! Are these Austin police officers restraining a suspect or abusing their power? We'll show you the video at the heart of this criminal trial.
We spot signs of Central Texans taking advantage of the wet conditions. How much rain are we in for now? Jim Spencer will have the answer.
And the shell that represented a high-tech bust in Austin now takes shape as part of the new face of downtown. Check out plans for the new federal courthouse and what they'll mean to the area.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news at 6.
Austin police officers are on trial accused of abusing their power.
This man, Ramon Hernandez, says the injuries you see in this photo are the result of excessive police brutality, but the officers tell a very different tale.
4.
From drought to flood and more rain in the forecast. Now, first at 4.
From overflowing creeks and lightning striking houses.
To stranded vehicles, to debris clogging gutters.
A wet and miserable day leaves its mark on Central Texas. Good afternoon, everyone. The rain right now is not as heavy as it was this morning, but more is on its way.
We have KXAN News crews live all across Central Texas this afternoon, following the rain we've had and preparing you for what's on the way. We begin our team coverage with Jim Spencer, who's live in the First Warning Weather Center with today's rainfall totals. Jim.
Yes, indeed, and for the first time today, we don't have any rain at all on KXAN Live Doppler radar. Just in the last half hour, we have seen the rain come to an end. Very few exceptions, a couple of light rain showers out there around the metro area, obviously for a short time today. You'd think everybody would be real happy about the rainfall, but this is one pedestrian who was not. At least she had her umbrella with her, but was splashed many times there. There's another one waiting on the bus stop this afternoon. I think for the most part, though, this was a good thing, with the exception of a few people that got their cars caught in that rising water. And where better to monitor the weather than from up in the sky? That's where KXAN meteorologist Laura Skirty is this afternoon in Chopper 36. Laura, the creeks were rising dangerously high there for a while. I'm assuming from up there you're seeing them at lower levels here this afternoon.
That's right, Jim. Just as quickly as that water rises, it falls back down. We're flying above Town Lake right now, and take a look. That's the hike and bike trail. Town Lake at the bottom of your screen, Shoal Creek at the top of your screen. The water was flowing over that part of the hike and bike trail earlier today. You can see the flow took bite. We're breaking up just a bit. Let's hopefully come back in. We're heading further east now along Town Lake, and while the water has gone down, another big problem with these flash flooding situations, all the silt and debris. Look at this, just east of I-35 now, Town Lake. An absolute mess, as a lot of that debris and silt has washed away from the shores and is now clogging the waters. Now, we know this doesn't last long. It should get washed away. As you mentioned, Jim, rain fell today over 3 inches over the city. The ground is now saturated with more rain in the forecast. Flooding is going to continue to be a concern. We'll talk from Live Chopper 36. I'm Laura Skirty. Back to you.
And the heavy rain created this mess on I-35 near the upper and lower decks this morning. A 10-minute commute for many of you turned into a drive of more than an hour.
And water-covered roads creating problems for drivers along South Congress this morning as well. Clogged gutters and some traffic signal problems also made the commute difficult for those of you trying to use Congress as a main road to get into downtown Austin today. Well, whenever there's a hard rain, one of the first places to flood in Austin is usually North Lamar Boulevard, where it runs next to Shoal Creek. Today, it was no different. KXAN's Rich Parsons is live at Shoal Creek and 9th Street now with the latest. Hey, Rich.
Hey, Michelle. Yeah, the good news here, Shoal Creek is comfortably back within its banks right now, but that was certainly not the case this morning. Check this out. It was a good 20 to 30 feet outside of its banks. You can see the water line way up here, all the debris that it washed up on the side of its banks. But it sure did cause a lot of trouble for folks on the road in the Lamar Boulevard area this morning. Check that out. The couple in this red car thought they could power through the flooding. Not so. All it got them was a stalled car they had to abandon in the middle of the street. Now, for folks who've been here a while, we all know to avoid Lamar when we get those heavy rains, but this couple told us they're from Wisconsin, so they're not used to dealing with water over the road like this. Like a lot of others around the area today, they learned a very costly lesson.
Off the road! Stay off the roads, please.
Yeah, back to Shoal Creek Live now, back within its banks as we just showed you. Good news. The bad news, more bad news I guess you could say, is by midday today, Austin police tell me they had about 150 reports of stalls or collisions. That's double the normal volume in an entire day, so people not heeding that warning, and they better take heed because we hear there's more rain on the way. We'll have all that later on at 6. Back to you.
Rich, thanks. Well, the barricades are in place now at low water crossings like the one today here we always go to at Bull Creek and Loop 360 in West Austin. You can see people ignoring the barricades there and plowing right through. Luckily, though, there were no reports of any cars being swept away there. Well, lightning was another big problem today. A home on Misty Lane near Texas Highway 21 in Bastrop County was hit by lightning. KXAN's live strike captured the cloud-to-ground lightning as it passed over Austin this morning. 2 of those strikes hitting homes, one in Steiner Ranch in western Travis County, the other in central Austin on Brockman Lane. That's where we find KXAN's Jenny Hoff, who has this live report. Jenny.
Robert, this could not have come at a worse time for these homeowners. Obviously, nobody wants their house struck by lightning, but if you can see all the possessions outside here and the boxes all charred up, well, that's because the homeowner was in the process of moving when lightning struck her house. Firefighters got here around 8:30 in the morning. Now, if you were anywhere in the area today, this morning, you heard the thunder, you saw the lightning, and it definitely caused damage to some homes. This house in particular, when the lightning struck, it caused a small fire inside and smoke started coming out of the roof. Now, luckily, the homeowner wasn't here, so there are no injuries to report.
Well, my neighbor called the fire department because when the lightning struck, she called the fire department. And when she heard it, she thought it was her house.
But it wasn't her house, it was Esther Schroeder's, and Schroeder said she's going to try to keep a stiff upper lip as she sifts through all the debris, and there is plenty to go through since she's lived in this house since 1957, and it is the first time it's ever been struck by lightning. Reporting live from Central Austin, Jenny Hoff, KXAN NBC Austin.
And up to 5,000 people lost power because of today's storms, including some local schools. The power was restored to all the schools by noon. Austin Energy projects that power will be restored to all of its customers within the hour.
And we'll continue our team coverage throughout this half hour. We are, of course, the only newscast on at 4 o'clock in Austin, and keep it here for our continuing coverage all this week of the rain on KXAN News at 4, 6, and 10, and of course on KXAN Firstcast. And don't forget, we're online all the time at KXAN.com. The Enron trial in Houston takes a dramatic turn today. We'll have new developments.
Plus, the man who is at the bottom of these fists prepares to take the stand, but you won't believe what reportedly happened before this recording started. We'll have an update from the courtroom.
It is a different
All these walkways became waterways along Waller Creek this morning. You're looking at what's usually a walking trail along quiet Waller Creek. Well, today, water not only jumped the banks, it also sent debris, large and small, racing down the rapids and into bridges along the way. Our weather coverage continues now in Williamson County, where the rain also caused plenty of traffic problems this morning. KXAN's Silva Harapetian is live with how you can avoid another nightmare on the roads if we have a similar scene play out tomorrow. Hi, Selva.
Hi, Michelle. You all know from your commute.
Flooded roads, lightning strikes on homes, and more rain on the way. KXAN crews will show you the most dangerous areas, plus a look at the storm's damage you will only see on KXAN. Live pictures from Chopper 36 next.
Record rainfall totals caused that flooding, and more rain on the way.
Next at 6.
Reduced to rubble will show you the power of lightning in today's thunderstorms, and more to come.
And what not to do. Learn a lesson from Central Texas drivers taking big risks.
And the silver lining on the rain cloud surrounds the Hill Country fruit crop. The only television bureau west of Austin brings you the good news.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 6.
Hi, everyone. With skies over Central Texas promising more severe weather, KXAN has got you covered.
We hope to make tomorrow's commute better for you by steering you clear of the spots that jammed thousands of drivers today. We're talking to cities and school districts about contingency plans for flooding or more power outages. And we'll show you where damaging lightning struck today.
And we'll start with our biggest assets in times like these, the experience and know-how of Jim Spencer. And Jim, you were saying we hit a new record in rainfall for the month of March?
Yeah, for the whole month of March, a record that has stood for 106 years, since 1900. 3 inches was the most rain we ever had on a calendar day in March until today. 3 1/4 at Camp Mabry, and this is how it started this morning. 5:55, showers breaking out in the metro area, northern parts of the hill country. The rain begins and it continues and continues until finally coming to an end early this afternoon. Those rainfall totals were heaviest here in the metro area. Let's go to the KXAN storm profiler. These green areas that you see right here in the middle of the city, and in fact from South Austin and southern Travis County, 2.5 inches of rain. Inside of Ben White, 2 inches of rain. That rainfall total at Camp Mabry was 3 inches. That's quite a bit at this hour.
You said it, Jim, just as quickly as those floodwaters rose this morning, they receded this evening. But take a look at what the heavy rains this morning left behind. We are live over Town Lake. We're near the intersection of I-35 and Riverside there on the south side of Town Lake. A lot of debris, a lot of silt and runoff. You can see just how brown and muddy the water is. Typically does not look like that on Town Lake. Now we're panning a little further to the west, and we're going to zoom in on Shoal Creek, right where Shoal Creek feeds into Town Lake. See that portion of the hike and bike trail there? That was underwater earlier today where those people are running right now. Take a look at the shoreline there at Town Lake. Every time we get the runoff from Shoal Creek, it takes a bite out of the shoreline there. Lots of erosion. You can see that one tree just hanging on by a root there. Shoal Creek has definitely gone back within its banks this evening. Shoal Creek there is on the right side of your picture, Town Lake on the left. Now, as Jim mentioned, over 3 inches of rain over the metro area today. We had 3 inches a week ago. Now the ground around Austin is saturated with more rain in the forecast. Flash flooding could be a concern again this week. Of course, the downside with less rain to the west of the Austin area. The rest of the Highland Lakes upstream probably not going to see a lot of impact from this rain. We've got a lot more from the air for now. Live in Chopper 36, I'm Laura Skirty. Robert?
Laura, thank you. And KXAN's Rich Parsons is live on the banks of one of Austin's most notorious flood-prone creeks, Shoal Creek. Rich?
Robert, thankfully, Shoal Creek is back within its banks for now, but that could all change. Look where more rain could put it. Way out here, about 20 to 30 feet where it was earlier this morning. That's the same situation for a lot of creeks in central Texas, and when that happens, it's really, really bad news for folks behind the wheel. With more rain on the way, more roads could flood. So don't do this. Stephen Stafford drove his red Corvette through high water at East Koenig and Middle Fiskville Road. His and another car nearly floated away when a storm drain backed up, flooding the street.
I really couldn't see because it was raining so hard, and I only thought it was about a few inches, and trucks kept going through, and then it got about 3 feet high, just flooded over.
As usual, North Lamar Boulevard flooded around 10th. Sarah Henningfield and a friend had to abandon their car after floodwaters trapped them.
Freezing. I can't feel my feet. So I'm cold.
But they are so not going to do this next time Lamar floods, which could be very soon.
Stay off the roads. Stay off the roads, please.
Well, that is certainly some very sage advice from someone learning about Austin's flooded roadways the hard way. Here's some more incentive. If a flooded road has barricades and you go around those barricades, well, it's a Class C misdemeanor and you could face a maximum $500 fine. So be careful, and it's not worth the risk. We're live in Central Austin. Rich Parsons, back to you.
Some good reminders there, Rich. Well, if the rain turned a 10-minute commute into an hour, you can imagine the ordeal trying to get from downtown to Williamson County. KXAN Silva Harapetian is there with our continuing coverage, and you say it's going to probably be another nasty drive tomorrow, Silva.
Yeah, it will be. I-35 commute already hard as it is. Well, throw in rain in the mix and you've got yourself a real traffic nightmare. And to add to the craziness, we had road closures. KXAN was there when Round Rock police chained the gates to the first flooded street in the city. Neighbors near Lee Street at Memorial Park say the water looks deceiving. It moves very fast. They say this road is very dangerous when it's flooded. This man backed away from the road even before the gates were closed.
I looked at it and it's moving good, and I think a lot of people underestimate that.
It's like that when it gets flooded, yeah. But I've seen people try to cross it. That's why I'm glad they put those gates there, because they don't drive through there now.
And with more rain on its way, here's some areas you want to watch out for. Highway 29 and Austin Avenue in downtown Georgetown gets easily flooded, so look for an alternate route there in Round Rock. Avoid north and southbound lanes of I-35 frontage roads just north of 79. You can take May Street as an alternate route. And for more commute tips and road closures, log on to KXAN.com. Silva Harapetian on KXAN, NBC Austin.
Well, at one point today, more than 4,000 Austin Energy customers lost electric power, including half dozen schools. This had thousands of Austin students learning in the dark. KXAN's education reporter Julie Shields is live at one of those schools, Graham Elementary in Northeast Austin, with more. Julie.
And Robert, talk about a lesson in severe weather preparedness. Here, students at Graham Elementary and students at Merkinson Middle School were actually in the dark for the longest today. Now, here at Graham Elementary, they were in the dark for 3.5 hours. But teachers tell us that in some ways it added to the learning experience, and at no time did they think about canceling school. Teacher Steve Diavola used his cell phone and as a flashlight to help calm down his kindergartners.
We all cuddled around the one window we have in the classroom, and I got out one of our books that we're reading for this week, and we kind of just read by very, very little light and some cell phone light. We kind of read the book, and they thought it was the coolest thing ever. They thought they were camping, actually.
The key there, just making sure that cell phone is charged. Now, the principal tells us lunch for these students was a little bit out of the ordinary, that they had to serve cold sandwiches to the students, but in reality, things really went off really well, because a couple years ago, this school was actually hit by straight line winds, and it really tore up the campus. They say compared to that, this was a piece of cake. We are live in East Austin. Julie Shields, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Well, plenty of folks in the Hill Country see the rainbow in today's rain. Find out how it's helping more than just the wildfire threat west of Austin.
That's what God wills us. We needed the rain.
And this homeowner is looking at the upside of this devastating situation. We'll show you the power of a lightning strike as KXAN NBC Austin News continues.
6 continues.
Well, the rain is a welcome relief for area ranchers and farmers.
But some say it's going to take a lot more to get back to those fruitful times. KXAN's Hill Country reporter Connie Swinney has this story.
This kind of weather is really good for crops like peaches and pecans. But if you take a look at the topsoil, you can see that it's wet, moist, but not really soaking. It pretty much soaked up the rain like a sponge. And that's just not enough to get conditions here where they need to be. Ranchers and cattle producers struggled through a dry winter. Parched pastures left little for livestock. Hay prices soared, creeks and streams dried up, and small grain producers watched dismal returns. For the most part, spring hasn't shown much promise until now.
What would be wonderful is a 3-inch rain over about a 5-day period, and then a week or two of sunshine, and then another one come in, 3 to 4 inches following that. That would start setting us up back to where we could go into a growing campaign.
The kind of runoff you saw in Austin is what Hill Country ranchers wanted but didn't get. Now, a few more days of this kind of weather, it could replenish stock tanks, rivers, streams, and creeks and give hay growers a chance to plant. In Round Mountain, Connie Swinney, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Well, we've gone from an exceptional drought to hardly any drought at all in the city, but other parts, a different story, and not everyone happy about the rain. This lady on Lamar Boulevard a little too close to the traffic. People, watch out for the pedestrians. Oh, goodness. We may have more tomorrow morning for you folks that are walking into Workers' School. 2.5 inches St. Andrews at 31st and Shoal Creek. 2 inches plus Manchac Fire Department headquarters. Texas School for the Deaf, Cherokee out in San Saba County. All between 1.5 inches and 2 inches of rain. More rainfall totals and your forecast is coming up next. But again, check out the official total. A March record 3¼ inches at Camp Mabry, and now 7.5 inches for the month. A new record monthly total as well. 1.85 out at the airport today. What welcome news. Forecast is next.
This time and temperature update is brought to you by Frost Bank.
Hi again. Well, Jim says lightning will continue to be a big concern throughout this week's thunderstorms. 2 bolts hit 2 homes in Travis County today, one in Steiner Ranch, the other in Central Austin on Brockman Lane. That's where we find KXAN's Jenny Hoff live with an update on the damage there. Hi, Jenny.
Hello, Michelle. Well, the family you can see behind me is still boarding up the house, sifting through the wreckage. They've been here all day long since lightning struck this house this morning. Now, it didn't destroy the home, but it definitely put the homeowner in a bind. Around 8:30 this morning, fire officials believe lightning bolts struck the house and caused a small fire inside. Now, luckily, the homeowner wasn't here, but it was a neighbor who heard the lightning strike, actually thought it was her own house and called out the fire department. Now, firefighters were able to put it out pretty quickly, and since there was nobody inside, there are no injuries reported, but it really could not have come at a worse time for this homeowner. She was in the process of moving after living here for 50 years.
I've lived here since '57. A tornado's gone over the house. Lightning has struck all the way around. Different businesses, but I guess it was my turn. I don't know.
Now, this was not the only home hit in Travis County. Another home was hit in Steiner Ranch on West Phalian Trail. We talked to the family. They say they're looking for an alternative place to live, at least for a couple of weeks, but there was minimal damage. Also, lightning targeted other homes, one in Bastrop County, just off of Highway 21 on Misty Lane. Again, no injuries are reported there, but it does show you just how quickly something dangerous can happen through no fault of your own. Reporting live from Central Austin, Jenny Hoff, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Jenny, thank you. We want to go back live to Laura Skirty up aboard Chopper 36. You're at a house that was hit by lightning in Steiner Ranch.
That's right, Robert. We're flying over the Steiner Ranch area now. That's near Mansfield Dam on Lake Travis. And take a look at this. It's hard to believe sometimes when lightning strikes, because you can see all these homes pretty much sitting at the same level. But as you zoom in, look at that blue tarp there. Early this morning, a lightning bolt tore through the peak of this house down into the home. The family who lives here was sleeping at home at the time. They are okay, but look down in the yard there to the left of the house. That's all the damaged belongings inside the home, things that were impacted when that lightning bolt tore through the roof this morning and into this home. Now, lightning was a big factor with this morning's storms, as well as the flash flooding, and unfortunately, the threat of that severe weather not over. Jim Spencer live with the latest on the lightning strikes this morning. There was a lot of them, Jim.
Well, no kidding. A very electrical area of thunderstorms that went through the area this morning. Take a look for yourself. Cloud to ground lightning strikes numbering in the hundreds. We're watching more storms develop out to the west tonight. Does that mean another rough morning tomorrow? I'll have your forecast.
A lot of rain in a short amount of time. Big trouble for drivers. We're going in the air with TxDOT to show you the areas to avoid.
Whoa, he's just going to plow right in.
Thousands were stuck out on the roads, but not everyone. We'll meet a guy who said, forget driving, I'm going fishing.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 10.
Good evening, everyone. A flash flood watch is now in effect, and when severe weather strikes, KXAN has got you covered no matter where you live in Central Texas.
We have a series of live reports on the aftermath of today's storms, and Jim, it looks like we have not seen the last of the rain.
Don't think so, Robert, and today was unlike any other March day we have ever experienced. I'll tell you what we're expecting coming up.
While rush hour drivers were stuck on the ground, this area's only television news helicopter was in the air. Here's the view you cannot see anywhere else, courtesy of our KXAN Chopper 36. This bird's eye view does not just show you the problems out on the road, it also reveals secrets that can save you time the next time you drive to work, likely tomorrow morning. In just a few minutes, hear what the man in charge of Texas highways in our area has to say when we give him a ride aboard Chopper 36. The rain really changed the look of this area. Waller Creek walkways became waterways this morning. You look at what's usually a walking trail.
And people making the commute from Williamson County to Austin, man, wish they were walking. KXAN's Williamson County crew was there when Round Rock police chained the gates to the first flooded road in the city. Lee Street at Memorial Park becomes very dangerous when it's flooded. And whenever we get a hard rain, one of the first places to flood in Austin is North Lamar Boulevard, where it runs next to Shoal Creek. KXAN's Julie Shields is live at Shoal Creek and 9th Street. Julie, how does it look right now?
Actually, Michelle, it looks pretty good right now. You know, this is an area when we get a really heavy rain, it can get up to waist deep here, but as you can see, the pavement here is actually dry. But it certainly did create some problems for drivers earlier today, many of them just not prepared. Now, things weren't, but the couple in this car thought that they would make it through the flooding. All it got them was a stalled car. They had to abandon it in the middle of the street. Now, things weren't much better along Interstate 35 near Highway 290. KXAN photographers saw a lot of unhappy drivers as tow trucks hauled off more of their stalled vehicles. A 10-minute commute for many of you actually turned into drive times of at least an hour or more. Now, the rain made roads like FM 2222 and some of the I-35 frontage roads very difficult to navigate. But at the same time, TxDOT officials say today's rain actually served as a test. And now they are working to improve drainage and response for some of the area's worst flood-prone areas. But they say ultimately it's up to you to make the right decision when there's water on the roads.
We did have people out who were watching the low water crossings, but it hit so fast that by the time they could get barricades up, some of the storms had already moved on and water goes right back down again.
Now, as you know, we have seen much worse in this area. Do you remember this? This was back on November 15th of 2001 when Shoal Creek flooded Lamar, forcing businesses to evacuate and drivers to actually leave their cars. Some cars actually ended up floating down the road. But again, we're back to reality, and today APD tells us they had about 150 calls for collisions for stalled vehicles, and that was just by midday today. So hopefully we will not have that same problem tomorrow. We are live in downtown Austin. Julie Shields, KXAN, NBC Austin.
And those storms caused the power outages for more than 4,000 Austin Energy customers. Some local schools also lost their power. At Graham Elementary in Northeast Austin, students spent almost 3.5 hours in the dark. Teacher Steve De Alva used his cell phone as a flashlight to help even calm down his kindergartners, and apparently the kids loved it. Power was restored to all schools by noon.
When lightning strikes in Central Texas, here's something you will not see anywhere else. KXAN's live strike, developed by our very own Sean Rutherford. He captured the cloud to ground lightning in real time as it passed over Austin this morning. Lightning hit 2 homes in Travis County, one in Steiner Ranch, the other on Brockman Street in Central Austin. That's where we find KXAN's Jenny Hoff. Jenny.
Robert, the elderly woman who lives at this house spent all day with her family and friends just trying to sift through her possessions she's accumulated over a lifetime. As you can see, most of the stuff here is just too charred to salvage, but as she'll tell you herself, she's actually pretty lucky considering this morning a lightning bolt went straight through her house into her bedroom.
Esther Schroeder spent all day picking through what's left of the home she's lived in for almost 50 years.
I've lived here since '57. A tornado's gone over the house. Lightning has struck all the way around. Different businesses, but I guess it was my turn. I don't know.
At 8:30 Tuesday morning, the storm raging through Central Texas made its way to Schroeder's home. A neighbor called the fire department after she heard the lightning bolt strike the house.
It hit right beside the bed, though. That's where they think it hit, the outlet at the bed.
Luckily for Schroeder, she wasn't in that bed, nor in the home when a fire started and destroyed most of her belongings.
A lot of the stuff was bought in the 40s, you know, my furniture, things that I lost, my bedroom suit.
Schroeder was in the process of moving that furniture to her other home in Bastrop. And although she can now just sift through charred memories, she still feels luckier than most.
Well, what can I do? God dealt me a bad hand. We got to deal with the bad ones too. But he'll help me recover. I'll make it.
Now, as we told you, this wasn't the only house hit in Travis County. The other one was in Steiner Ranch. And although there only looks to be minimal damage, the family tells us they're still looking for another place to stay for the time being. And Bastrop County didn't escape the storm's wrath either. There, a house was hit on Misty Lane near Highway 21. Now, as far as we know, there were no injuries reported with these lightning strikes, but it does show you this storm didn't just cause trouble for drivers and flood roads, but left at least a few families out in the cold. Reporting live from Central Austin, Jenny Hoff, KXAN, NBC Austin.
KXAN has this area's only television news bureau in the Hill Country. Farmers and ranchers told KXAN's Hill Country crew today they welcome this wet weather, but some say they need a lot more rain. Ranchers and cattle producers struggled through a dry winter. Parched ranch land left little for the livestock to eat. Creeks and streams dried up there, and ranchers say what they need now is a good soaking.
What would be wonderful is a 3-inch rain over about a 5-day period, and then a week or two of sunshine, and then another one come in, 3 to 4 inches following that. That would start setting us up back to where we could go into a growing campaign.
Recent showers helped crops like peaches and pecans, but did little to help small grains and hay.
And in other news, the issue of immigration heated up again today on the streets of Texas and in the U.S. Senate. In Dallas, several hundred teenage protesters gathered at City Hall to show their support for immigrants. Students in Houston also left class to march. Some senators on Capitol Hill are paying close attention to these student protesters. Yesterday, the Senate Judiciary Committee cleared the way for millions of illegal immigrants to seek citizenship without having to leave the country, a very different version than the bill passed by the House.
That bill is cruel, and that bill is wrong. And yesterday, the Senate Judiciary Committee and the Senate, on a bipartisan basis, decided that there was a better way.
The president says he supports the temporary worker program, but he does not support citizenship for illegal immigrants.
This guy says severe weather makes him lucky. Maybe it's not so lucky for the fish he's catching.
Just how bad was all this rain for drivers in Austin? We took the KXAN Live Chopper 36 with the experts to find out.
And with Jim Spencer's forecast coming up, why would you go anywhere else? We'll have the latest on the flash flood watch now in effect.
Hi again. We've seen what this wicked weather can do to drivers in Central Texas.
But are there areas you can avoid to make your drive a little smoother? Our Chris Willis took the experts into our KXAN Chopper 36 today for a bird's eye view that could help you and your commute.
For some people in Austin, when it rains, it pours. So much rainfall in such a short time, roads were closed, power was lost, and drivers were stranded.
It just died. So I think the battery just because our battery is a little loose, I think the cables probably just came off when we started going through the water.
The weather is likely to continue, so with a brief clearing, we took to the sky in KXAN Chopper 36 and asked the experts from TxDOT to go with us to help you identify potential trouble, starting with the big problem on the lower decks of I-35.
It rained so hard and so quickly that the drainage system wasn't able to get rid of that as it normally does.
From I-35 to 620 and everywhere in between, water covered the roadways. From the sky, it's easy to see why.
And we got a real good view of the gullies from up here that show you how the water begins to run towards the major arterial roadways.
And that's what you've got to avoid. One of the biggest morning messes, 360 and 2222. Hertz says avoid it if you can, because water gathers at the bottom and becomes a fishbowl of frustration.
Water will begin to slide down those hills towards the flat intersection and hold it until it has an opportunity to drain.
TxDOT is quick to emphasize if you drive around a barricade or a blocked off intersection, you're putting your life at risk. It just takes a few inches of water to whisk away your vehicle, but unfortunately,
no matter how many times you say it, there's always one knucklehead.
Whoa, he's just going to plow right in.
And even if you're not in a dangerous situation, the heavy rain can still have an effect on your commute. Visibility becomes a problem on every roadway. TxDOT sees it every time it rains.
The spray from other vehicles, but you've also got precipitation, so you've got it coming up at you from the roadway surface as well as probably falling, and it can be a very disorienting sensation.
Bottom line, slow down, stay smart, and plan ahead. Because it is true, when it rains, it pours. Chris Willis, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Our video of the day, nothing like.
So.
Was that Michelle at the bus
Give
stop?
it, no, I would never give someone the bird.
I've seen you wave at me like that before.
All the time.
No, I don't.
This is really a historic day, Jim.
It really
Yeah.
is. There has never, in more than 100 years of record keeping, been a March day this wet, and now we have the wettest March
Wow.
ever, too, because of the.
But not everybody
other
received
freeze.
rain, and we would have thought.
There are places out
That's
in the
kinda
hill country
weird.
that.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news, first at 4.
Turned out to be a nice and warm spring afternoon, but are we done with the thunderstorms for good? I'll have your forecast.
Your property taxes would go down, but some other taxes would go up. It's all part of a big Texas tax plan. Rich Parsons coming up. I'll have details, and we'll hear from folks who would pay more and folks who would pay less.
I had my hands up to surrender, and then he tased me.
Keep him from hitting me with it.
That's the message from the man whose beating by Austin police was caught on tape. I'm Santa Henderson. Coming up, we'll tell you what the victim has to say about the police trial.
He was tased 10 times by Austin police officers and punched more than that.
Today in a Travis County courtroom, Ramon Hernandez comes face to face with the officers accused of beating him. KXAN Santa Anderson is live with our top story, first at 4. Santa?
Michelle, Ramon Hernandez says when he was approached by the first officer, he...
It's a proposal that could ease traffic here in Central Texas, improve the economy, and keep our air cleaner. Today, the Texas Transportation Commission announced plans to build a new rail line that would stretch from Laredo to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Here's a live picture now of Interstate 35 from KXAN Chopper 36, the only news helicopter here in Central Texas. The new rail line would run parallel to the interstate. The goal to help reduce some of the congestion we're seeing here every day.
What does this really mean for most Texans? It means we can enhance the role rail's play in moving goods in Texas. It means we have a plan to get more freight on rail.
Well, Central Texas dodged a weather bullet today, a day after flooding and record-setting rain leaves behind its mark. Showers today just lightly soak Austin this morning. Most of the rain stayed west and northwest of the capital city. It had been a little clearer earlier this afternoon downtown, and the clouds are creeping back in. Jim, what's going on?
Well, there's NBC Austin.
An armed robbery suspect is on the run today after holding up a South Austin gas station. Around 9:30 last night, police say a man walked into the Shell station in the 2100 block of West Ben White and robbed the clerk at gunpoint. Suspect's a white man, about 5 feet 11 inches tall. He's around 25 to 30 years old with a goatee. If you have any information, please call Austin Police.
The superintendent of the
Convention approved for use just a few hours ago.
And for a day that started off cloudy, drizzly, with some rain in the area, it sure turned out to be pretty nice. In fact, nice enough to get out on the lake. Wouldn't that be wonderful on this Wednesday afternoon? Warm out there, too. KXAN Live Chopper 36 in the sky over Lake Austin. Sure is a beautiful day, isn't it? Well, we had some rain.
Well, that's it for KXAN News at 4. We hope to see you back here for our news tonight at 6.
We thank you for joining us. Keep it right here on KXAN for NBC Nightly News at 5:30. The Chopper is looking for breaking news, and if it happens, you'll see it first right here.
News doesn't stop, and neither do we. For the latest news, weather, and more, log on to KXAN.com. It's all you need in a click.
I want to talk to Michelle Valles. All right, let's go to the weather and talk about whether we might get more rain, whether you want it or not. KXAN Live Chopper 36 showing us a beautiful sun there. Total eclipse of the sun in parts of the world today, not in North America. Antarctica actually was the place to be. 6:19 p.m. the current time. The sun set this evening. We will take a look at that in a second. 6:49 now. That's coming up. Partly cloudy.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here at 10.
The news doesn't stop, and neither do we. For the latest news, weather, and more, log on to KXAN.com. It's all you need in a click.
Comfort food. Chicken fried. Get to
KXAN NBC Austin.
And traffic on the southbound lanes of the interstate slowed to a crawl tonight. Crews closed all the lanes of southbound 35 near Cesar Chavez and the 6th Street on-ramp after a collision. It slowed things down for drivers heading home after work. 2 high school soccer players from Beaumont are dead tonight after their charter bus.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news first at 4.
The verdict is in. We're live with the decision from the jury on the fate of 2 Austin police officers on trial for beating a man in their custody. Plus live team coverage as Central Texas students take to the streets to protest immigration reform for a second day in a row.
Yeah, hi. I'm on the 106th floor of the World Trade Center. We just had an explosion on the 105th floor.
And final words. Hear the dramatic moments of the morning of September 11th, 2001. And we begin with that breaking news today from the Travis County Criminal Justice Complex.
Within the last hour, a jury has decided the fate of 2 officers that were on trial facing charges of official oppression. Brad Heilman and Christopher Gray were accused of beating this man, Ramon Hernandez, who took off running after a traffic collision last year. KXAN Santa Henderson joins us live with a late-breaking decision. Santa.
Michelle, it took the jury less than 2 hours to reach their verdict. As you can imagine, the defendants were very happy once that verdict was read. We were inside for the decision.
In the case of Brewer Bradley Heilman, not guilty. In the case of Christopher Michael Gray, we find not guilty.
Brad Heilman and Chris Gray hugged their attorneys once they heard the not guilty of official oppression. Now, those charges came after a video surfaced of them tasing and punching.
Is still in question.
For the second day in a row, students from Stony Point High School in Round Rock took to the streets to protest the proposed changes in immigration law. But this day ended much differently than yesterday. KXAN's Jim Bergamo joins us live from Round Rock High School, where the protest march ended. Jim?
Good afternoon, Michelle. As we've been reporting all along, these protests, while peaceful, have not been sanctioned by any of the schools in the Round Rock district. Now, yesterday, students who took part in the protest were marked absent, but today, many were given citations for violating the daytime curfew law, which states those students under the age of 17 have to be either in school or at home from the hours of 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. The Round Rock Police Department says over 100 citations were handed out today. Violating the daytime curfew is a Class C misdemeanor, carrying a fine of up to $275. Now it's important to see Austin.
Jim, thank you. Well, from Round Rock to back here in Austin, student protesters shut down Congress Avenue from 10th to 11th Street. That happened just a few hours ago. Austin police officers are serving as escorts, putting up the barricades, but they're not arresting students or giving out citations for curfew violations. A boil water order remains in effect for some residents up in Cedar Park. Construction at the southeast corner of Palmer and FM 1431 damaged a water line, prompting the order. The areas affected are along Palmer Lane, south of Colonial Parkway, and north of Brushy Creek Road. The ranch at Brushy Creek subdivisions, along with Breakaway Park and the Silverado apartments, are just some of the neighborhoods and businesses affected.
Police in San Marcos want your help tracking down 3 men who they believe nearly stabbed someone to death. These are the wanted men. They are George and Jonathan Aguilar and Michael Swan.
This time in Cedar Park, investigators there saying about 8:30 last night, 18-year-old Nathaniel Newell was run over and dragged some 300 feet by a train near Discovery Boulevard. The conductor told police he saw the man laying on the tracks and says he blew his horn and applied the brakes but could not stop the train in time. Newell is listed in stable condition at Brackenridge Hospital.
And now, your
NBC Austin. Artists Christo and Jean-Claude are in Austin this weekend. Today they signed postcards at the Austin Museum of Art downtown. An exhibit of the work from the world-famous couple is on display at the museum through April 30th. And we have just found out that they will be appearing at the Austin Fine Arts Festival tomorrow from 11 to 1 o'clock exclusively in the Austin Museum of Art booth. That's at 3rd and San Jacinto. This festival going on all weekend at Republic Square Park.
I'll be emceeing the event with Marcia Ball headlining the concert, and hopefully we won't get any rain, Jim.
I think it should be fine, less than a 20. Yes, more.
Jim, thank you, and thank you. We'll see you at 6.
Bye-bye.
The news doesn't stop, and neither do we. For the latest news, weather, and more, log on to KXAN.com. It's all you need in a click.
SBC is now the new AT&T, so switch.
In the case of Christopher Michael Gray, we find not guilty.
Now at 6, the jury decides 2 officers shown on tape beating a handcuffed suspect learn their future. Was it the right choice? You decide.
Students on the streets, immigration the issue. Find out how these protesters are shortchanging school districts.
A change in the future of 2 schools is announced, but it's not all good news.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 6.
Not guilty. That's the decision handed down against 2 Austin police officers caught on tape beating a handcuffed suspect.
KXAN first brought you this late-breaking news this afternoon. Tonight, we're gathering reaction from all sides. KXAN has live team coverage. Our Rich Parsons is getting reaction from community leaders, but we begin with Santa Henderson. She's been following this investigation and all the new developments in the trial. Santa.
Robert, the not guilty verdicts for Brad Hyman and Chris Gray came quickly. Still, the jury had a lot to consider as each side hurled accusations in closing arguments. The state accused the defendants of handing out street justice, but the defense says they were fighting for their lives. Here's the verdict.
In the case of Christopher Michael Gray, we find not guilty.
It was juried 6 people because this was considered a misdemeanor official oppression case. This trial lasted 1 week. Reporting live from the Criminal Justice Complex, I'm Santa Henderson, KXAN, NBC Austin.
And you could see the officers on trial showed obvious relief when they heard that verdict. KXAN's Jenny Hoff caught up with them after the verdict and is live at APD with their reaction. Jenny?
Well, Michelle, these officers, as you said, showed obvious relief, and they say they were vindicated today. They say that video that you saw of them repeatedly hitting Ramon Hernandez while he was on the ground with his hands behind his back didn't show the whole story of what happened that day. They claim at one point Hernandez tried to grab one of their guns, and their reaction not only saved their own lives, but that of Hernandez's as well.
I have no regrets. Faced with the same situation, I would do everything I had to all over again.
I'm just very happy. This has been a long, stressful process on us, our families. Terry's been stressed. I'm just excited to go home.
Now, we also spoke with the Austin Police Association President Mike Sheffield. He says that during this case, the APD administration has not supported its officers, but he says the jury's decision shows that obviously the public does. Now, William Heilman already quit the force after this incident. Christopher Gray, however, is still on it, and he's now on restricted leave with pay pending the internal affairs investigation going on here at the headquarters. Reporting live from APD headquarters, Jenny Hoff, KXAN, NBC Austin.
There are many in Austin who worry today's verdict will further erode race relations between Austin police and the city's minority population. KXAN's Rich Parsons continues our live team coverage from North Austin. Rich.
Robert, we're about a block off of Burnett Road to the west of Burnett Road on Buell Avenue next to the National Transmission Center. We're told that this fight between Hernandez and the officers happened on the other side of this fence back there by that dumpster, but it's just about the last place you'd expect racial tensions to boil over in Austin. Members of Austin's civil rights community say the police videotape of the arrest is damaging enough to white officers beating a seemingly subdued Hernandez. But those activists and Hernandez say the acquittal of the officers by an all-white jury adds insult to injury in the wake of several high-profile, very violent clashes between cops and minority suspects.
The jury was potentially white. Actually, all of them were.
And you think that had something to do with their decision?
Somewhat. I mean, maybe they, the side that they live on, or maybe where they live at, they haven't had a rough life.
We did see that this individual was face down, handcuffed, unable to do or harm or hurt anybody, the police officers. So my first reaction is, how is it possible that this can be policy that is accepted policy within the police force?
Well, Austin police didn't have much of an official reaction to today's verdict. We got this press release from them. It only recognizes that there was a verdict in this trial and reiterates what Jenny just told us, that Officer Heilman resigned last year and Officer Gray is now on restricted duty with pay pending an internal investigation. We're live in North Austin. Rich Parsons, back to you.
Our coverage does not stop here. Log on to KXAN.com and let us know what you think. Do you agree with the jury's verdict today? And we'll have the latest results and reaction from the jury verdict on KXAN News tonight at 10.
Up to $275. That's how much it will cost some Round Rock students and their families for the right to protest the changes in national out of class to protest at the Capitol.
KXAN Sally Hernandez continues our coverage from Travis High School. Sally?
Hey, Michelle, several students from this high school, along from McAllen, Johnston, Reagan High School, they all skipped class together at the Capitol, and all about 100 students banded together, although many are not exactly sure why they are protesting. Whatever the reason, according to school officials, it's costing them.
Lakeway police officer is put on desk duty after being charged with DWI while off duty. I'm Tawny Swinney. That story coming up on KXAN NBC Austin.
2 Austin elementary schools are spared from closure. The details coming up. You're watching KXAN NBC Austin.
Your news first at 4.
Breaking news, a verdict is reached in the trial of confessed al-Qaeda conspirator Zacarias Moussaoui. Plus, hot shoes, and we're not talking about new styles. The latest on $30,000 worth of shoes stolen from a local store. Good afternoon, everyone. The wild weather tops our news first at 4.
Here in Central Texas, we're starting the week with spring heat wave temperatures and potential thunderstorms.
Meanwhile, across the nation, at least 27 people are dead after a string of thunderstorms spawning tornadoes rips across the Midwest. What does this mean for us? KXAN's Jim Spencer is following today's top story. He's live in the First Warning Weather Center. Hi, Jim.
Hi there. First to our severe weather threat. Let's go.
We're here in Dyer County and we're taken without the boxes.
3 cars were involved in this accident in North Austin today, but luckily nobody was seriously hurt. The accident happened at the intersection of Lamar and Yeager Lane before noon today. A pickup truck was making a left turn onto Lamar when it was hit by oncoming traffic. The driver suffered only minor injuries. Police in Laredo are investigating.
News first at 4.
Today, I am announcing my intention to resign my seat in the House.
From Republicans to Democrats, we have today's reaction to the Hammer's decision to quit his job. One teenager accused of gunning down another at an Austin bus stop last year. The trial gets underway today, and we're live with the new developments. And providing relief. Local Red Cross workers help the victims of Sunday's deadly tornadoes as the states affected survey the damage.
Good afternoon. The big story today, Republican Tom DeLay announcing he will leave his job in Congress within months.
Because I just 50-50. That comes as no surprise to Tom DeLay's opponent for the House seat, District 22. Nick Lamson says
my mainstream record with the legal and ethical problems that he's had, he couldn't win. And so to that extent, no, I'm not surprised.
Tom DeLay did.
Release of King Kong.
Now to breaking news. Police have just released pictures from surveillance video taken the night a man was gunned down in northwest Austin. KXAN's Jenny Hoff is live at APD headquarters where police just finished a news conference with the very latest information on this. Jenny, what can you tell us?
Well, Robert, police are linking Anthony Benesh's murder to the Bandito motorcycle gang, and they want you to take a look at the surveillance video that was taken the night it happened, March 18th, just outside of Sacone's Pizza.
Loss.
Fire has destroyed a mobile home in Cedar Park. A mail carrier noticed the smoke on Sumac Lane this morning. She called 911. Firefighters fought the blaze from inside and out. There was no one at the home at the time. Then the homeowner arrived later and was visibly shaken. At the time, the cause of this is still under investigation.
A roadblock in southwest Austin is now clear. This morning, an oversized mobile home took out some cables, including a power pole near the Y in Oak Hill. To make matters worse, an SUV collided into the mobile home. No one was seriously injured, but traffic was diverted while crews worked to clean up the mess.
Looks like it could be another bad hurricane. Strategist and radio talk show host Jim Hightower, his reaction to DeLay's decision is one you likely haven't heard.
We have some breaking news out of Bastrop County. Emergency officials are on the scene of a train accident. It apparently hit a gravel truck just before 5 o'clock north of the Bastrop city limits. The truck driver was flown to Bracken Ridge Hospital, but the injuries are not life-threatening. The accident is located along Sawyers Road and Old Perkins. The intersection is closed while officials investigate. We'll keep you updated throughout the newscast. Police just released video related to last month's murder in northwest Austin in hopes that it will help them solve the crime soon. Anthony Benesh III was gunned down in a parking lot along 183. And more breaking news for you now. You're looking at a live picture of this wreck at the intersection of 183 and McNeil Drive in northwest Austin. Now, this is the northbound service road of 183. You can see at least 2 vehicles involved here with
fire trucks and paramedics responding to the scene, but there's no word of any injuries. There's obviously something thrown there on the roadway, likely to counteract with any hazardous materials that may have spilled in this wreck. It's a good idea to avoid that area, 183 McNeil, especially now during rush hour.
It looks like they're taking away a patient there. Well, a 37-year-old man riding on a motorcycle crashed into a man and his 2-year-old son. Only at 6, KXAN Silver Petty-on talks with the victim and witnesses. She's live in Hutto with more.
Hi, Robert. You see a lot of kids playing out in this neighborhood. It is a residential neighborhood. Take a look. They're out here skateboarding, riding their bikes. Well, mix that in with...
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Laura. Well, for those of you on the road at 6 o'clock, here's your rush hour recap. The driver of a gravel truck is now being treated at Brackenridge Hospital after a train collided with his truck in Bastrop County late this afternoon. It happened just before 5 near Sayers Road and Old Perkins. That intersection is still closed at this hour. We'll have an update on the wreck tonight at 10. And the other top stories of the day, Texas Congressman Tom DeLay is resigning from the House. You'll find local reaction at KXAN.com. An Austin homicide investigation is focused on these 2 cars circling a Northwest Austin restaurant parking lot just before a father of 2 was gunned down back on March 18th. Call Austin Police right now if you know anything about them. And a murder trial began today for one of 4 suspects accused of shooting an Austin high school student at his bus stop.
Lance Armstrong is trading in.
And good luck to Lance.
Yes,
yeah.
Thanks.
Well, we're going to try and show you some video here of the accident happening in Bastrop County. Emergency officials are at this train accident where a gravel truck apparently hit this train just before 5 o'clock north of the Bastrop city limits. This is located along Sawyers Road and Old Perkins Road. County officials have not released any details regarding how this accident happened or if anyone was injured. We'll get you more coming up at 10.
Wheel of Fortune next. We'll see you back here for more local news on KXAN at 10 o'clock.
SBC is now the...
Wheel of Fortune next. We'll see you back here for more local news on KXAN at 10 o'clock.
A stretch of train tracks in Bastrop County closed because of an accident involving a dump truck and a train are open again tonight. This is an update to a late-breaking story we first brought you at 6 o'clock. Investigators say the train collided with the truck shortly before 5 o'clock north of the city of Bastrop. The impact damaged the front end of the truck. KXAN News was there as the driver was being wheeled into Brackenridge Hospital, and EMS spokesperson says the driver has non-life-threatening injuries. The investigation into the crash continues tonight.
Breaking news tonight out of Florida. A deputy press secretary of the Department of Homeland Security has been arrested tonight. Brian J. Doyle is in custody.
This is your news at 6.
But first, we have some breaking news to tell you about going on in East Austin. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Vias. Austin firefighters are battling a 2-alarm blaze at the Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church. That's in the 2300 block of East 11th, a church that dates back to the 1920s. KXAN's Rich Parsons is live on the scene. Rich, what can you tell us?
Well, Michelle, it looks like the fire is out right now. You can see the massive response to this thing. The fire is about a block up on 11th Street right here. There's a 2-alarm fire, means 10 fire trucks, about 50 firefighters. The steeple once stood about as tall as those trees on the left there. That was just an hour ago. Now it's collapsed into the structure, but take a look at how big an inferno this thing really was. Pastor Elder Lawrence Perry tells me he was the only one in the church when the fire broke out. He says he was in his office preparing for tonight's service. When he walked into the sanctuary, he opened the doors, and he said smoke just began pouring out. He heard some popping sounds, so he called the fire department and fled the church. Fire department says no one was hurt. Pastor Perry got out, and he is okay. Firefighters got here within minutes, and they tell me that they found the attic of the church fully involved in flames. So with no one in trouble, no one's life at risk, they decided to pull back out of the church and take up a defensive position to keep the fire from spreading, but not to risk any lives of firefighters. Well, they were successful in keeping the fire from spreading, but the roof did collapse in on this 88-year-old church. As of right now, they do not have a cause. Michelle?
Rich, quick question there. I understand that the firefighters had a problem with the fire hydrants. Tell me about that.
Well, they said there wasn't a problem with getting water on this fire, but where the challenge was is this is such an old part of Austin. They said they have 6-inch mains to get the water up here, so they had to plan how they got the water to the fire so they didn't use their supply too quickly. Look right here. There's a fire hydrant just a block from this massive 2-alarm fire. There's no hoses hooked to it because they had to be very selective in what fire hydrants they used so they didn't draw too much from one area, leave one area out of water, and not have enough to fight this fire. We'll have much more for you here shortly on News 36 at 6. Back to you.
Thanks, Rich. Well, more Austin students walk out of class and on.
And then you could see it, the whole roof was on fire.
Fire at an Austin church, and that's not all. More breaking news tonight.
Arrests in bars. Why the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission may make a change after all the criticism and public ridicule.
I'm Jim Spencer. New video from last weekend's incredible tornado outbreak. And could we see severe storms tomorrow? I'll have the full.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 10.
What a busy day and night for area firefighters. A fire that caused major damage to an Austin church was just the beginning. KXAN's Chris Willis is live in Georgetown with our top story. Some breaking news going on over there, Chris.
Michelle, good evening to you. We're at the corner of University and Elm here in Georgetown, and a big part of Georgetown history going up in flames right now. Let me get out of the way. This one's still burning. Take a look for yourself. An historic home built in the late 1800s. As you can see, the smoke still billowing out of the roof there. A roof collapse was a big concern for firefighters in this one. The ladder still going up to the second story. They've been at this for a while, and you can see firefighters still kind of waiting, looking for more flames and watching those hot spots. Flames in the roof. You can see it right there. They still appear to keep shooting up. Little housekeeping for you in background. This one started burning just before 7 o'clock. Fire crews from Georgetown and Round Rock responded. About a half dozen units and countless firefighters. Several city blocks are shut down on University right now. They're likely to stay that way for a while. We can tell you, smoke in the air was almost unbearable. This one we couldn't believe. When we arrived, it was like walking into a huge cloud. The visibility for us was horrible, so you can imagine how it was for firefighters. They used several strategies to attack this one. First, as you saw, the ladder shooting the water down onto the second story, again, watching for that roof collapse. They also attacked this one from the ground level. In the meantime, residents say this house is a big part of Georgetown history. They've enjoyed it for generations, and tonight they are saddened as they stand and watch it go up in flames.
I saw it before it started to go up. I spoke with the owner of the home, and she saw some flames coming out near a hot water heater, and she had a water hose on it, and the fire department came, and she had to leave the home.
Really sad, because it was just like, it looked like a gingerbread house or something, just with the flames just coming out. The whole thing was just covered in flames.
And as you mentioned, Michelle, at the top of the show, this is not the only piece of history going up in flames in Central Texas. Earlier today in East Austin, just before 5 o'clock, another building goes up in flames. This is the Pilgrim Rest Primitive Baptist Church in the 2300 block of 11th. Also an historic building to members of that congregation and this East Austin neighborhood. It appears this fire started in the attic area, although investigators do not have an official cause. The pastor of this church was inside when the fire broke out, but he was lucky enough to get out in time.
Anytime you can escape a fire, it's a blessing. The church is in the people. The building can always be replaced, but the church itself, as we believe, is in the people.
God is trying to tell us something still.
What do you think that could be?
To get together and love one another, and live right and do right.
All right, when we left that scene, that church was not stable enough for fire investigators to go in and do their inspection. So they tell us they will likely have an official cause of that fire come tomorrow. In the meantime, this house is still burning here in Georgetown, this piece of history, so we're going to stay on location, gather more information for you, and bring you those latest details just a little later in this newscast. For now, we're in Georgetown and we're live. Chris Willis, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Okay, Chris, thank you for that. Well, more Austin.
Your news first at 4.
What went wrong? An Austin church goes up in flames and investigators dig through the rubble to find a cause.
Life cut short. A 24-year-old is run over and killed in Taylor. Now your help is needed to track down a suspect.
And a new view. Meredith Vieira announces her move to the Today Show. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, the Austin City Council recognizes a gang presence in one neighborhood. So today they've set aside about $20,000 to directly help the residents tackle that problem.
Parents say the money will go a long way to help protect their children, but it's also causing some controversy. KXAN Sally Hernandez is live at Martin Middle School in East Austin to explain why.
Yeah, Robert, you know, Martin Middle School is in the middle for now. Back to you guys.
An update now in breaking news we're following in the KXAN newsroom. The northbound lanes of Interstate 35 are back open after an accident involving an 18-wheeler truck and another vehicle. Austin police say the 18-wheeler collided with a vehicle along the interstate near Old Torf around 2 this afternoon. The lanes were closed for a little while, more than an hour in fact. 2 people were hurt in this crash. You can expect some residual delays if you're driving south of Austin into downtown on the interstate. 2 men are recovering after they were shot overnight in North Austin. Both victims say they were in a car around 11 o'clock last night when someone opened fire on them. They made their way to a business in the 900
of evading detention.
A historic home in Georgetown goes up in flames, and investigators are still trying to figure out why. Flames poured out of this Victorian home on University Avenue around 6:30 last night. The fire started in the rear section of the home on the bottom floor. Nobody was home at the time.
A team of investigators is still combing through the rubble at an East Austin church. Our Chris Willis is live on East 11th Street with the latest information on the exact cause of the blaze. Hi, Chris.
Michelle, good afternoon to you. Fire investigators actually suspected it late yesterday. Several of the witnesses we spoke with said they could actually smell something electrical burning before this fire broke out. Well, now it appears that the fire here at Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church was started by an electrical malfunction. By the time the sun went down yesterday, it was too dark and the building was too unstable for investigators to get in. So they held a fire watch throughout the night, secured the area, looked for hot spots, and investigators were back at it early this morning. They say there is no foul play suspected. It appears to have started between the floors from an electrical source. We asked investigators if they thought there was any part of the building they could salvage.
No, they're going to raise the building. They'll have to raise the building. Just from my experience as an investigator, they'll start from scratch and rebuild.
Really a test of the faith. And we feel that predicated upon our spiritual lives, we can go forward. And we can be even a better Pilgrim Rest as a result of this.
Now, Pastor Perry tells us the church is insured, and take a look. It does appear to be a total loss, but it can be a little bit deceiving. You can see some of the brick of this building still intact, but look at that roof. They say that that's where the majority of the damage is. In fact, firefighters attacked it from the roof down, and so there's extensive water damage inside. It does appear to be a total loss. The damage estimates are coming in at about $430,000. Of course, the congregation, the church members, they all say they plan to rebuild. We're live in East Austin this afternoon. Chris Willis, KXAN, NBC Austin.
In Washington, Senate Republicans and Democrats say they have reached a compromise on immigration reform. The surprise announcement came this morning after floor debate. Just yesterday, it seemed negotiations had faltered. But today, Majority Leader Bill Frist said there had been, quote, a huge breakthrough overnight. The deal...
Yes, you're going to want to hear. Stay with us.
Nearly 400 pounds of marijuana discovered on the streets of Houston. We'll show you the bust.
And emotional testimony today in the death penalty trial of Zacharias Moussaoui. The former mayor of New York City relives the horror that he saw September 11th.
And we have breaking news in West Austin. A school bus involved in an accident near 620 and 2222. We're going to have more on this coming up on KXAN, NBC Austin.
Are you looking to sell your house quickly? Then call us at 1-800-PAY-CASH. Whether your house...
$1 million. A 24-year-old woman was killed last night in Taylor by a hit-and-run driver. Now investigators in Williamson County need your help in tracking her down, tracking down the killer. The deadly accident happened shortly after 9 o'clock last night at the intersection of State Highway 95 and US 79. And our Jim Bergamo is there live with more on this investigation. Jim?
Robert, investigators tell us the young woman was riding a motorcycle and she was waiting for traffic to clear at the intersection that you just mentioned so that she could then get on the entrance road to US 79. That's when investigators say she was struck from behind. Now, the victim is 24-year-old Mary Lee. She's from Cedar Park, where she's lived with her brother for the past 4 years while she graduated UT with a degree in biology. While the speed limit here is 50 miles per hour, investigators say Lee was struck so hard from behind that her body was found about 160 feet away from the impact site. Her motorcycle was propelled another 15 to 20 feet.
We found the helmet several feet away from the victim's body, so we believe that it was due to the violent impact that had knocked the helmet right off.
I'm not angry
My feeling right now is just all sadness for my sister.
Now, we'll hear much more from Lee's family coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Now, though, we want to show you that investigators are looking for a light-colored pickup that was towing a large trailer, perhaps one used to carry horses or cattle, or perhaps it's a utility trailer. Also, they say the front bumper of the pickup should have damage similar to what you may see after a pole is struck. In other words, bent sharply at the middle. Anyone with information is asked to call the Taylor Police Department or the Williamson County Crime Stoppers number. Reporting live in Taylor, Jim Bergamo, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Thank you, Jim. Well, it looks like the skies are gray and can't tell if it's going to rain or not in September. Right now, KXAN News is first with another breaking story, this time in far west Austin. A school bus and a pickup truck collided, causing traffic tie-ups along 2222 and Highway 620. KXAN's Laura Skirty is there. Laura, what can you tell us?
Well, those traffic tie-ups only getting worse right now as people are leaving work, Michelle, heading out west of Austin, and this accident is being cleared away. Take a look. The school bus is still there. This was a bus carrying 12 high school students from the Fort Bend Independent School District. That's near Houston. The kids were here in Austin to take a sign language class at the Texas School for the Deaf. They had come out to the Oasis nearby to have a nice lunch. Well, they ended up getting hit from the front by a pickup truck that police say looks like ran a red light here at the intersection of 2222 and 620. Take a look at this video we shot just a few minutes ago before they cleared that Nissan pickup truck away. Again, folks say the truck heading southbound on 620 ran a red light, hit the front of this school bus. Both the truck's driver and the bus driver transported to Brackenridge Hospital with what police say are non-life-threatening injuries. As for those 12 high school students on the bus from the Fort Bend Independent School District, well, all of them refused treatment here at the scene. The nearby Leander School District volunteered a bus to come pick them up. They're already out of here. They've been brought to Cedar Park to a comfortable place to relax until their folks can come pick them up or they can find another way back home to the Houston area. But again, if you are headed out toward Lake Travis west of Austin, one lane of traffic at least on 22 and 22 and 620 still going through, but the backups are stretching back for miles now. You want to try and avoid this area till the accident's cleared. Reporting live, I'm Laura Skirty. Back to you.
Laura, thank you. Well, we have another breaking story, an update now on a sexual assault that happened last month in Austin. We'll have that next. Is first at 4. Austin police detectives have just released this sketch of a sexual assault suspect. It's believed a man fitting this description assaulted a woman on Saturday, March 11th on Powell Lane and dumped her in Bull Creek Park in West Austin. If you believe you may know this suspect, call Austin police.
All right, if you're thinking about heading out, let's take a live look at traffic right there in Mopac near Camp Mabry. Loop 1 looking pretty good. Now let's take another look, this time at I-35, not looking so good. Traffic kind of going slow there, north and south, right there just south of the river. Thanks for joining us. We'll have more news and a weather update after this.
This is your news at 6.
Good evening. Today, city leaders voted to set aside $20,000 to deal with street gangs in one Austin neighborhood.
But some parents argue the problem is bigger than some school officials want to admit. KXAN Sally Hernandez is live near East Austin's Martin Middle School with tonight's top story.
Hey, Robert, this is no doubt a controversial subject. The money that the council approved was supposed to go to an anti-gang program at Martin Middle.
So they can have